We are at the brink of things. Can you guys feel this? No longer are we the strange group, man. It's the rest of the world that's tripping. Am I right? I'm going to say this right now, and I mean this. I want to introduce my good friend to you, Mr. Corey Goode. Corey, get it up here.
Thank you. Is this a sign? Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate everyone that's live streaming at home. Most of you have heard my story, and I'm going to go over it again. So, a lot of this you've already heard, but you have some eye candy to go with it this time. A lot of people hear the MK Ultra program, and they like to lump everything under that. The MK Ultra program was a mind control. That's what the MK stood for. All of the other Ultra programs and related programs, they had different training, they had different agendas. But we've pretty much been lumping everything under the MyLab umbrella since it's gone public. And we're all under mind control. Every single one of us. We're socially programmed by the norms around us. We're programmed by television, movies, media. And we're getting to a point to where we're starting to break free from that on an individual basis. I think we've talked about it on Jimmy Church's show. Very recently, after the change in administrations, the military-industrial complex, after some changes, started to send Marines into some of these FEMA bases. After the change of administration, a lot of them were supposed to give up their power. Instead, they locked the doors. So these Marines were sent to break through all the concrete, cut through the steel, and give them one opportunity to surrender. And if they didn't surrender, they were to kill everyone in the entire base. And it was, and these bases can, as you know, hold a lot of people. These Marines they're special forces, and they were not briefed on anything non-terrestrial. They just thought they were going in to clean out a bunch of criminals. After they had breached the base, they found themselves face to face with reptilians doing battle with them. And a lot of these Marines are, Southern boys, and next thing you know, they're fighting something that looks like the devil, according to their belief systems. So these guys were so incredibly traumatized, they couldn't function after this battle. This was very recently, in the last 2 months. Yeah, and a lot of other bases are being cleared out. This is a declassified film of Camp Century. It's a top secret Arctic base, and it was from Project Iceworm. I'm showing this because not only have they been building bases in Antarctica like this since the 50s, but this is very similar to how they built bases on the moon and Mars. They would tunnel out the ground, clear out the ground area like this, and then use mostly local materials, fabricated materials, to build inside. And then they would use nuclear power in the beginning. Then they graduated to where they were using thorium generators, and then now they have zero-point energy, so they don't have to have the more dangerous technologies. I'll let this play for a few minutes and chime in. Some of you may have seen this on the internet. It was released, like a year or two ago. Now, they would ship, everything was prefabricated. Everything had been put together, unearthed, designed to go together like a puzzle by numbers. And I helped actually to build out an outpost on Mars. And we used a lot of the local materials on the surface after they had built below ground, and it was very much like this. It was much lower tech than you would expect. The inner Earth seems to be probably the most popular topic that I've talked about. A lot of you remember me talking about witnessing the city in the Deep Cavern. This is an animation that Renee created to help depict it. It's very good. The only difference is the cavern was the size of a state. There's no way to really accurately depict on scale how large it was. Unbelievable. There was mist up along the ceiling of the cavern. It was, I mean, like New York or Manhattan under the ground. We got a little bit of time. Does anyone want to do a Q&A? Do we have another mic? Awesome.
Hi. I'm a little curious about the jobs that you were given when you entered this program. Could you elucidate? And also why you're allowed to talk about this? No one's stopping.
Well, as it turns out, there's sort of a disclosure war going on. There are factions of the Air Force that have been working with, like the NSA, DIA, and some other military intelligence groups, and they have a space program that they've been promised is going to be, made public very soon, and they're excited about it. This is a program that I used to call a lower secret space program. It's lower technology, and they're told that they're the top of the pyramid, there's nothing above them, and they believe it. And if you tell them otherwise, they're ready to fight you. Now, the Navy also has a much more advanced program. There's a lot of competition between the Navy and the Air Force in space. Right now, the Navy, a faction of the Navy, has wanted all of this to come out. Are y'all familiar with William Tompkins? Yes, what he's been doing has been sanctioned by a certain group within the Navy, Naval Intelligence. And that group is a part of the alliance and a part of the group that had been encouraging me to bring information forth that was much more detailed and had talked a lot more about what was really going on out there than even the people in these Air Force programs knew about.
Corey, oops, sorry. Corey.
No problem.
Yeah, I came up with this question a year ago, but after today, I think I know your answer. But basically, are you optimistic about the eternal struggle between good and evil for the positive outcome? So you can rephrase the question or just say yes or no.
No, you're right. We're seeing it all around us. The energetic changes, they're causing the evil people to become more evil, which they expose themselves. They can't control their behavior, so they expose themselves. And as we're becoming the good people are becoming more awake, we're getting to the point where we're not going to take it anymore. And it's time that we get out and start demanding answers, demanding the full truth. When they come out with these partial disclosure narratives, we need to be in their face and saying, what about this? What about this? And make it impossible for them to draw out over 50 or 100 years this partial disclosure narrative that they're planning on doing, which is they're going to tell us, we found Atlantis. It's amazing. And that's going to blow everybody's minds as it is. A good portion of the planet thinks that the planet's only 7,000 years old. So, it's going to blow their paradigms immediately. Now, eventually, and then after that, they're going to reveal this Air Force, DIA, NSA program that they have two barely more advanced than the ISS. They have 2 bases up that they made out of repurposed rocket stages as they were launching rockets into space, the lower programs. And they're going to reveal this, and they're going to say, oh, by the way, not only do we have this secret space program, but we've discovered these weird ruins on other planets. You know, that blows our minds again. What they've been doing in Antarctica is since, for the last almost, I think, 14, almost 15 years, they've had very prestigious professors, archaeologists coming down and helping them document it. They've been videoing it, documenting the whole process, except they're going to give us a sanitized version to where it's only humans. They're removing from the one site that they've been filming, they've removed all the pre-Adamite bodies and the hybrids and just left the ancient humans that were working with this pre-Adamite group. And then later on, they're going to discover these ships and these pre-Adamite beings. And what the cabal groups had planned on doing is then saying, oh yeah, we knew about this the whole time. We're related to them. We're their bloodline. And therefore you should worship us and make us, you know, your leaders of the planet.
Recently, Stephen Greer went on record saying you're a really nice guy, but
I'm brainwashed.
Yeah. That the human trafficking that you talk about out there is a falsehood. And I wanted to see if you had a response to his claims on record.
Yeah, you know, he's had his briefings. I think a lot of his briefings have come from the Air Force faction, and you know, they believe what they're telling him, and I don't see why he would have a reason to doubt them. So, you know, the positive, negative aliens existing, that's just a belief system. You know, we all have them. Science is a belief system. So I can't fault him for having his own beliefs, because we all have our own beliefs, and not everyone's going to agree with me. And, you know, there's some stuff that I'm sure I've gotten wrong, that when we do get a disclosure event, you know, I will see that there are some things that I'm human. The things I observed on the glass pad, that was decades ago. So, I really don't have anything against him or any negative feelings towards him, because I know that he's on his journey and doing the best he can, just like each of us are.
Hi, Corey. I want to say thank you for everything you've done and for risking your life for this goal.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. You're all going to be on my next vlog.
What we're going to play for you tonight is the launch of the trailer here for Sphere Being Alliance, Return of the Guardians. Welcome, everyone. Enjoy the evening.
What is their message?
Their message for humanity is that we need to become more loving, we need to become forgiving of ourselves and forgiving of others. We need to focus on becoming more service to others on a daily basis. And we need to focus on raising our vibration and our consciousness.
So, Corey, do you think that they were deliberately allowing some stuff like this out in case they might disclose earlier than they ended up doing? Is that part of what was going on here?
Yes, they have to seed the consciousness. That's the way their magic works. They will put out information and then redact it or ridicule it later, but the seed is planted. So, yes, it's to set things up. They have things planned out hundreds of years, and it's just a part of their limited disclosure.
Somebody's been out in our solar system for a long time. Then in 1996, I read this Law of One material, which the first book of which is called the Ra material, because Ra is the name of the source. It claims to be a positive entity that helped the Atlanteans and the Egyptians way back when, and their message got distorted and confused, and they had to withdraw. Then they come back, and they were able to get through people that were actually doing intuitive channeling and get messages through. Now, in general, I don't really endorse channeling at all. I think it's kind of really taken a big downturn. But you read this stuff, it's like diving into some frickin' scientific manual that has all this jargon and all this very interesting stuff going on. And Corey, we're about to get into the space program, but when you were in the program, did they know about this?
Yes, absolutely. The rank and file were told that it was Luciferian and evil to stay away from it.
Right.
But the brass were encouraged to read it and a number of other books.
But sure enough, we had this movie come out, Jupiter Ascending, February 6, 2015, and this is when Corey had come over to visit me for the first time. We go watch the movie together.
Actually, we went to the Conscious Life Expo.
That's right.
And then we left
and we
went
caught
to
the
go see
movie.
that,
Yeah, that's what happened. So it was right after I'd given a big talk, and then he was literally like flexing in his seat and freaking out.
I was not.
No, you did.
I mean, you over animate everything.
You were like that. Here you got these tall reptilians in the movie that are advising a weird human-like group of people who are very dark because they're feeding off of others to stay young. They're literally like creating this bath out of, harvested human beings that they soak in and then they get young again. And it's all being directed by these Draco people.
If we do get what all of us are wanting, full disclosure, it's not going to, I've stated before, we're not all going to be standing around holding hands singing Kumbaya. It's going to be the most traumatic experience that society has ever had. But just remember, all evolution happens through stress, and it's something that is needed. We're ready for it, we need it, and we don't need to be treated like children anymore and just given tiny bits of information over decades.
Amen. He drops the mic. Boom. This is it. We're done. Thank you so much. Full disclosure now. That's what we want. Conscious Life Expo. This is it.